Good evening and welcome to the Contract, Finance, and Administrative Committee meeting on Monday, December 13th, 2021 at 5 p.m. Council Chambers in the Parish Courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices, remove all hats. I'd like to call this meeting to order with a silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Matters before the committee. Item number 2021-0313, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with River Birch Renewable Energy, LLC, to perform professional services for solid waste collection services, project number P210804. Parish President Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman Gibbs. Back in August, the parish put out a request for proposals for solid waste, and unfortunately, due to Hurricane Ida, that had to be extended. But proposals were submitted to the parish, and in November they were opened and then graded by a grading committee, and then sent to the administration. We selected River Birch Renewable Energy out of the B3 options that were graded. And the B3 option, which River Birch will get up and talk about, is a hybrid between automated trucks that we would use on normal streets, or what I'll say regulation streets, and then a regular rear loading semi-automated truck with hoppers for streets that don't have kind of the width to have a fully automated truck, or I think they call it an ASL. In part of doing that, we wanted to have this committee hearing to have River Birch come and show a little bit more information and answer questions for the council, just to talk about their proposal.
Thank you. Item number 2021-0313 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak on behalf of this item, please do so now. Please state your name, address for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, Mr. President.
Let me get your name and address. Just for
my
record,
name is Gus Bordlawn. I am president of Coastal Environmental Services and River Birch Renewable Energy, 138 Kokomo Lane, Bush, Louisiana. It's an honor to be here tonight. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to propose on St. Charles Parish's garbage contract. And we look forward to bringing our style of service, which we believe is the best in the business, to St. Charles Parish. Starting off, I'd like to give you a little introduction about our company, and then walk you through our proposal, what we proposed, and then take any questions from you, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, please do.
It's a new day, and while you start yours, the fleet of bright yellow CES trucks is leaving Lacombe to service over 45,000 customers across St. Tammany Parish and Pearl River County, bound by industry experience, community support, and one common goal: to be the area's premier waste and debris provider.
From the big town to the North Shore, now right here on the bayou. If you need it picked up, hey, River Birch is the right place, right here. Locally owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Councilman Ricky Templet, Councilman at Large for Jefferson Parish. Myself and my colleagues are excited to bring River Birch Renewable Energy to the streets of Jefferson Parish.
Hi, I'm Jefferson Parish Councilman at Large Scott Walker. My colleagues and I are thrilled to introduce you to the new automatic side loading trucks from River Birch Renewable Energy.
I'm here with River Birch Renewable Energy with their new trucks. This is going to be a new service for our residents on the west bank of Jefferson Parish, unincorporated, as well as the residents of the town of Jean Lafitte. They'll have 25 new trucks, and this service is no additional charge to our customers.
Coastal has been great for our community. They're at the intermodal centers for the Christmas lighting, they're at our ball fields, they're in our communities. They are willing to help our citizens any way possible.
You know, we've had them for years and have not found anyone else that could do the job better. They come through every week for us. And I realize the tough job that they have, and they perform every time.
We're lucky and blessed to have Coastal Environmental Services. They're local. They live in our community. They care about our community. They care about South Louisiana and South Mississippi and the areas that they serve, and we're lucky to have them.
In any municipality, especially somebody like Abita, who we have limited resources, price is important. So you need somebody that's going to be competitive, which Coastal has, been far better than anybody else that has even we've considered.
Citizens of Covington expect their garbage to be picked up, their recycling and green waste picked up in a timely fashion. And we're certainly proud of the fact that CES has been provided exceptional service to our community.
COVID this year had everybody cleaning out their house, and it brought on a lot of new garbage. So we brought on this new subcontractor to make sure that your garbage is picked up as efficiently as possible. So we welcome River Birch Renewable Energy to our Jefferson Parish households.
Here with the parish president of Lafourche Parish, Archie Chasson. Archie's been a little over a year. River Birch has been on the bayou, so to speak. Over 34,000 people that they've been able to service and picking up debris and garbage in the area. Kind of tell us a little bit about how things are going.
Hey Mike, glad to have him here. River Birch Renewable Energy has been a great partner with us over the last year.
Hurricane Ida will probably become the second most damaging storm in the history of the state of Louisiana.
I've had the privilege of working with Coastal Waste back after Katrina in 2005. And so when it came time to look for someone to embed with, to ensure that we would get the services we needed after this storm, it was an easy choice. Coastal Environmental Services was the only choice for the city of Gretna. Working with Gus Bordelon, his son Darren, and Barry, it's been an incredible experience. There's never a day when I have to worry about them being on the street or being where they're supposed to be or doing the job at its utmost fullest, but I know it's going to get done by them. It's been incredible to see the city streets go from being just totally, in a mass with trash and debris and tree destruction, and then to see just days later such a huge difference. Thousands and thousands of tons of debris that has been removed from this city in record time. I want to say thank you to Coastal Environmental Services. I would never want to go into a battle again without them.
Hey, having grown up on the bayou, and I still live here, it's so important to have your debris, garbage picked up on time. We all want to have what we don't want picked up by the right company. River Birch has been great for over a year here, right here on the bayou in Lafourche.
I would certainly recommend CES as a waste provider for any municipality, any homeowners organization, or entity that may be looking for a waste provider.
Our relationship with Coastal, we're very fortunate. Look around, everything's beautiful, it's spotless, it's clean. We just have a wonderful relationship.
When you look at that service, cost, those type of things, every municipality has to look at that, and you can't beat Coastal when it comes to that.
Thank you for giving us an opportunity to to share some experiences that some of our customers have had with our service. Give you a little history about, Coastal, River Birch Renewable Energy. We all know River Birch, the largest landfill in the state of Louisiana, the fourth largest in the whole United States. That's where all of your trash that gets picked up, your residential trash, goes. In 2018, River Birch made a decision to get into the hauling, the collection side. And we started a company on the North Shore called Coastal Environmental Services. From there, we acquired the market, and we service Mandeville, Slidell, Covington, Abita Springs, City of Picayune, and about 40,000 residential customers throughout St. Tammany Parish. In 2019, Lafourche Parish they were looking to make a decision on a change with their garbage service. Their current provider came to them with a huge increase. Things were tight in the parish, as in most parishes and municipalities. And so they were looking for a better way to provide the level of service that their residents expected and deserved. And we went in with a proposal to automate the parish, save them some money, and we fully 100% automated Lafourche Parish. First time it's ever been done. Shortly after that, August, the same year, everybody in this industry was dealing with COVID, shortage of employees. When you hear about, the trash being piled up on the curb, it was really tough to get employees on the back of the trucks. But our approach in Lafourche Parish and throughout the North Shore gave us the upper hand in service. Jefferson Parish was they were in the same situation, trash piling up. They needed to make a change. We presented those folks with a proposal to bring in automation on the West Bank. We fully automated the West Bank, and that's the way we do our business. We had the opportunity to propose here in St. Charles Parish, semi-automation. We chose not to bid that. We chose fully automation. It is the way, with all of the shortage of employees, it's the future in our industry. And what gave us the upper hand, if you look at this whole market, every garbage company in this area, they do semi-automation service. And what that is, it's two guys on the back of the truck, tipping the trucks with a semi-automated tipper on the back of the truck. The problem is that those guys on the back of the trucks are harder and harder to come by. And that's the advantage of the automation system. And that's what we are proposing to bring here to St. Charles Parish. Our team here, so with our team that we put together for Coastal and River Birch Renewable Energy, we have over 100 years combined experience on our management team. We proposed and serviced in 2004 in St. Charles Parish, a little company that we started in 2002 called Coastal Waste Services. So we have a lot of experience with service here in St. Charles Parish. In our proposal, as I mentioned to you, our operational plan is to, as the parish president mentioned, a combination of automation and semi-automated. There are some areas in the parish that we feel will be pretty tight, and we would have to use the rear loaders. But we feel like 98% of the parish can be fully automated. We use automation trucks. We use some rear loaders to what we call chase trucks that come around and handle the bulky waste. But what makes our service different is that we try to get the residents to containerize as much as the waste as they can. If we do that, we have the ability to put extra boom trucks on the street. In our proposal, I think the proposal asked for 2 boom trucks weekly. We proposed 3. If we could work with the parish and ask the residents to containerize as much trash as we can, we would propose bringing in the 4th boom truck. That would give us 2 boom trucks on the East Bank, 2 boom trucks on the West Bank. That would enhance your service here in this parish greatly. Our experience in the parish is that there's a lot of tree debris, there's a lot of bulky waste, And with the combination of boom trucks, chase trucks, and ASL trucks, we feel that we can bring the level of service that your residents deserve and they pay for. One of the things that having the automation service did for us after Hurricane Ida, our driver showed up for work, as did many of the garbage companies around. The driver showed up, but not being able to get the folks on the back of the truck, what good did those trucks do? Those trucks sat idle. We were able to bring in 16 trucks after Hurricane Ida into St. Charles Parish for a weekend and helped get the parish cleaned up. The following week, we brought in 24 trucks into the city of New Orleans for the whole weekend to help them get back on their feet. And you heard the testimonials from some of the elected officials throughout the area. We stand by, the comments that they made. We really believe that we do this business better than anybody else, and we would love to have the opportunity to service the parish of St. Charles Parish. I have with me tonight Barry Bordelon, who is our municipal marketing manager, and also Luis Lizama. Luis Lizama is our general manager for River Birch Renewable Energy. He oversees the operation in Jefferson Parish, and he will be involved in the operation here in St. Charles Parish. Luis, you want to say something in regards to the service?
Yes.
And the approach?
Thank you. Good evening. One of the things that we're looking forward to is the ability of these automated trucks on the streets of St. Charles Parish, because your parish is set up, the neighborhood is set up, a lot of the areas with some of the wider streets and all that, they're ideal for what these trucks can do. So these automated trucks, from what we've seen in the deployment that we did in Lafourche Parish and what we did on the West Bank in Jefferson Parish, we're very, very confident that we can do the same here. We have a huge advantage in the sense that we have existing routes, existing areas, veteran drivers now, it's been over a year, that we can do a smooth transition with cross-training and getting our drivers used to the trucks and all that. So by the time we get ready to hit the streets in St. Charles, we'll be fully automated. Drivers will have the experience needed and do all that. And to supplement that, we'll have the traditional railroad trucks. So we want everybody to feel confident that the residents are not really going to see a huge difference, except for the fact that we'll pick up one side of the street first and then come down and do the other side. So that's the number one call that we'll get for like about a month once we do the startup. But once they get used to what the process is, we feel confident that the residents will love the service. They'll like what's going on. It's really efficient. They'll get used to the garbage being picked up at the same time every collection day. And then the boom trucks that supplement that, with the 3 trucks that we have proposed in this, we'll be able to run routes and cover the areas and be able to communicate between the different the side loaders, the rail loaders at the boom trucks, and the drivers will be able to know what's on the street at every given day. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
To give you a little information about the automation compared to the semi-automated, you have semi-automation, 2 guys on the back of the truck, 3 men on the truck. On a good day, those guys can do about 75 homes per hour. The automated side loaders, we're getting anywhere between 130 and 140. It's just unbelievable. And the biggest thing is that you all remember shortly after Ida, the trash piled up on the street. That arm shows up every day and it's ready to go to work. It's never late. It is phenomenal in this business, and the technology that they have now is just unmatched. All of our trucks are geared with GPS systems, which was really cool to see. When we came into St. Charles Parish after Ida, we were out on the street following trucks, trying to get them through the routes, because our drivers here, most of them have never been in St. Charles Parish in their life. And we came from the North Shore. And to hear live dispatchers sitting in Lacombe, monitoring the truck, telling the truck, take a right here, take a left there, getting those drivers through the routes to make sure that every street was covered, every resident was serviced. Great thing about this system is that if someone calls and says, you missed me, we can go back, tell you exactly what time we were there, have a video of that can being serviced, a video of that can not being out. So it is really, really efficient. And we really look forward to bringing that technology to St. Charles Parish if we're given the opportunity. Barry, you want to say anything?
No, just briefly. Well, one thing I need to correct Mayor Constance. She mentioned that Darren and I were Gus's sons. I'm not Gus's son. Anyway, with that being said, everything changes in life. Been in this industry a very long time. And, you know, I was a dyed-in-the-wool, real load guy. Hoppers on the back of the truck was the only way to pick up garbage. It's a different day. It's a different society we're dealing in. And if you're going to be successful, you're going to have to go to containerized garbage and automated. It's a pleasure being here. Look forward to being back in this parish again.
Any questions?
I'm going to have one real quick. Containerized garbage, you mentioned that a few times.
Yes, sir.
And you said if we have more containerized garbage, we'll have more boom. How does that correlate? I don't understand how that correlates.
Okay, so we've assessed the parish, and we know that most residents have multiple carts. So what we're asking is don't put extra trash bags on the side of the cart, extra debris. Try to put everything in the can. If there's areas where we see that it can't be containerized, we will provide that resident with an additional cart only as a needed basis. If we get the majority of your waste in that cart, we don't have to run that chase truck to pick up the stuff outside the cart, because what our driver will do is he'll dump the can,
right,
and if there's a 1 or 2 bags, one off, he'll reload it, but he can't do that for 1,000 homes on a route. So if it's containerized, that arm can actually do what it's designed to do. And that would free up a chase truck, and we would put that instead of the chase truck, add a boom truck to the parish. What's great about that 4th boom truck is not this past year, 2 years ago, how many threats we had of hurricanes coming into the Gulf? 7, 8? And every time that threat comes into the Gulf or close, you got to go out and start picking up the debris that's left on the side of the can so that it doesn't get in your drainage system, that it doesn't cause issues like that. It gives us the ability to manage the parish the way it should be. Having 2 boom trucks, you cannot keep up. This is a very green parish. I can remember some of the numbers that we had. The national average pounds per home, I don't care where you live, the national average is about 50 pounds per home per week. In St. Charles Parish, it's probably 78 to 80 pounds per home per week because of all of the green waste and the bulky waste that's out there. We manage it different.
Right.
So let's containerize it. The same thing we did in Lafourche Parish. It was a learning curve. It was, it probably took us about a month. We did an educational video for the residents of Lafourche Parish, the same thing we did in Jefferson Parish. The do's and don'ts of the automation system. We don't want the cart next to the mailbox, because we don't want to take the mailbox with the can away from cars and those things. But once we educated the public, the residents in Lafourche Parish, I asked you to call the council, ask the parish president how fully automation is working in Lafourche Parish. And I can tell you, I don't think they'll ever go back and do anything different. It works really good, and we support it. We support the ASLs with the boom trucks. And we would like to add that service to you. We propose 3. If we can work together, the council, the administration, and get the residents to containerize as much as you can, we would gladly add that 4th boom truck to this service. And I can tell you, you'll see a big difference in this parish.
But
Now,
all cans aren't universal, right? So you got a different size can.
The technology on the ASLs, the automated side loaders, it can dump the 35-gallon, it can dump the 65-gallon.
You don't want bigger ones, I would assume, because you want everything containerized.
Yeah. And again, with all of the different most residents have multiple carts already.
Right.
It would just be a handful, and, you know, that would need an additional cart.
Right.
But, so, anyway.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention on the note of the fourth boom truck, right now, St. Charles Parish Public Works Department is operating boom trucks and supplementing bulky waste pickup. So about once a week, Miles, maybe even a little bit more than once a week, sometimes depending on how much debris is out there, we will go out and pick up bulk waste and transport it to the landfill. Having double the amount of boom trucks, I believe, will take us out of that work and allow us to continue doing things like road repair and drainage improvements and things like that, and kind of take us out of this business that we really weren't in up until 2016. So just want to add that.
Yeah.
So you talked about the ASL capacity per hour households, and you talked about the rail loaders. So the ASLs are smaller trucks, correct?
No, sir.
No.
They're actually, the ones that we have 28 yard. The rear loaders are 25 yards. And so what we have, we're the only company in the state of Louisiana, probably in the South, that are using these trucks called multi-packers. They're a combination of ASL and rear loader. So if we use a multi-pack for a chase truck, we've got a guy on the back of the truck that handles some bulk. If he doesn't show up, the guy on the back of the truck, that truck can still go out and work as an automated truck. It can dump the cans. In the spring, as we know that it's seasonal here in South Louisiana, we can put two guys on the back of the truck and one guy on the back of the truck and handle bulk. So, but yeah, the capacity of the ASLs, they're just a little bit bigger, 28 cubic yard. The rear loaders are 25 cubic yard.
So it would mean about the same amount of trips, basically, when you filled up to run to the landfill to empty out.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be more trips to the landfill.
Wouldn't be more trips to the landfill.
Okay.
Ms. Cluley?
Gibbs. So you're going to issue new carts to the residents, or they'll start with the carts we have now?
Start with the carts. There was a line item in the proposal to provide every resident a new cart.
But they'll just be replaced as needed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
In some municipal locations, the automated garbage trucks would not pick up the carts if the lid didn't close completely on the cart. Is that going to be a situation here?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, not at all.
I don't even know. Couldn't imagine why.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I couldn't imagine either. So
Actually, in the video we showed, there was actually probably a 2 foot of trash. And the lid was all the way open, and the ASL was able to handle that. But no.
Yeah, I think in Lafayette, if the lid doesn't lay flat, they'll just skip the can.
Really?
Yeah. And nothing could be on the sides of it.
They never worked for Chandra then.
Yes.
Taking multiple trips.
I know this is another subject, and that's recycling. I know presently we have no recycling in our vicinity, and I don't know if that's anything that River Birch is considering down the line.
Well, that would be a decision for the parish. I'll tell you that we are probably the #1 recycler in this area. We recycle in Slidell, Mandeville, Covington. The price.
Like plastics and glass and.
No glass. Plastics, newspaper, cardboard, tin cans.
So you have an end user for that?
Well, we do. And here's the difference in it's very expensive, I'll tell you. To process 1 ton of recyclables cost us about $170 a ton. We have to pay a processor to take it. We pay them $170 a ton. we put it in a landfill for 35, 40.
Well, if you're coming from across the lake, and I think you dump across the lake too, where?
We have a transfer station, yes, ma'am, and it's transferred in. But the processing, the problem with recycling in this area is there's no industry close by.
Right.
We have to truck it and, to industry that can actually handle it. There was a time, probably not, 10 years ago, we would actually get paid for the commodities. And now we're paying $170 a ton to have it. We're hoping that will change in the near future.
There is somebody in New Orleans that is starting to recycle glass.
Yes, ma'am. And I think that their charge is about $15 per home for recycling.
Is that what they're charging in New Orleans?
Pretty strong.
Yeah.
Ms. Cooley, I just want to, we did put that as an alternate proposal in our RFP. And it would be an additional $7.89 per home per month to do recycling. So we didn't feel at this time that it would be a benefit to do it. I mean, we know there's a benefit to recycling, but we're hopeful that in the future, if the industry comes around and that the supply is higher, we can bring that back on for a reduced cost. And then, Chairman, you had mentioned the carts. To replace all the carts would be an additional $1.30 a month for River Birch to come in and put a cart in front of every new home. St. Charles Parish did something kind of radical some years back that no other parish, I think, had done at the time, was we put in our RFP many years ago that we wanted to own our carts. So that when you change vendors, you don't have someone come and taking all the carts and then bringing out new carts, and I didn't get a cart and this, that, or the other. So that's why you still see some brown waste management carts, progressive carts, and all those others. So I just wanted to mention that we did explore the opportunity of recycling.
And I agree, if the cart's perfectly fine, there's no reason to replace it, because then it's just more garbage.
Yes, ma'am.
And the reason why I'm asking about recycling is because the residents ask about recycling. If there's nobody going to use it once it's picked up, there's no sense in treating it any different than the garbage that's picked up.
So on the North Shore, Mandeville, participation rate in Mandeville, 100% of the people pay for recycling. You put it out, whether you put it out or not, 100% they pay. And about 35% participate. Slidell's even lower than that. It's a tough deal right now, the recycle piece. So.
Right, I'm just asking because the residents ask.
Yes, ma'am, I
Yeah.
understand.
And until there's a market for it, then it's garbage.
That's right.
So, thank you.
Unfortunately. And what really drove the prices up is that, the trade wars with China. China was the number one buyer of all of our recycled goods. And then finally, at some point, they just said, we don't want it anymore.
Well, then they just started dumping it in other countries, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
or in the ocean. So, thank you.
Let me ask you real quick about size. Municipalities, where do we rate, which are the largest municipality, and where are we in that chain as far as size?
The largest that we service, the West Bank of Jefferson Parish, which is 56,000 homes. Lafourche is 34,000, so you would be number 3. But you would be treated as number 1. I can assure you.
You need to say that, I know that. When you come into a brand new municipality, do you bring in brand new trucks too?
Absolutely. Everything that we propose is brand new, state of the art, no used equipment. We'll be bringing 12 brand new trucks, shiny and ready to go.
Do we get our own new color?
The color trucks for this they're actually silver. I don't know if you've seen the trucks from the West Bank.
The trucks were in the RFP as well, required new trucks
Right.
in RFP.
Right. Mr. Fisher.
How, if we go with you guys, how is this gonna affect our solid waste exposure? Will there be any difference? Because basically you're gonna be the hauler and the disposer and the same, because you're the same company. So is it gonna save us any money on our solid waste expenses by having you guys do this?
Well, you have one contract for disposal, what we proposed on was just the hauling piece, the collection.
Okay.
So, I think when you look at compared to the other proposals, we were the cheapest, the company that proposed.
You had the RFP on the disposal cost too, right, Matt?
No, I'm pretty sure I'd have to go back and check, our disposal piece, in a perfect world, they'd line up together. But that comes up and we'll be negotiating that, not this year, but next year in 2023. And I think we'd be in a better negotiating position if River Birch is picking up our trash. But I think that was a 25-year contract. It was started in 1999, so.
That was just a question, is like, if we decide to go with you guys, we can give you all the eggs in the basket, what I'm saying. I would hope we would.
Oh,
Get a few eggs out.
Get a few
It will
eggs
reduce the deficit that we have currently.
Okay.
With solid waste. So when I got in, it was around $800,000. That's partly because of COVID. People were throwing away a lot more, so that fee that's being collected wasn't covering as much. Grant has run the numbers, and that should get us to below $200,000 for our deficit that we have. So we'll try to finish negotiating the rest of that out when the solid waste disposal piece comes up, the actual landfill River Birch piece comes up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I need to close public hearing. Is there anyone else in the audience like to come up and speak on item 2021-0313? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Appreciate your presentation. It was well done, and good luck. And learned a lot about trucks today, garbage trucks anyway, that I didn't know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Matt, I know there was at least one vendor that was concerned about the scoring process and felt that they should have scored higher. So can you, I guess, discuss the process that y'all went through and, how we ended up with River Birch to maybe, lend some transparency to that?
Sure. And I'm going to actually, I'll talk a little bit about it, but I'll turn it over to Mike or Miles. I'll turn it over to you, Mike. So we had a scoring committee of civil servants and folks from my administration. I think you have it here in your.
So we had 5 people on the evaluation committee, myself, the Deputy CAO Billy Raymond, Director of Public Works Miles Bingham. We had a representative from finance and a representative from the engineering staff as well. So everybody had the proposals as well as the rating criteria that was in the RFP. So first section was the cost of collection, proposes qualifications, comprehensive approach, equipment dedication and maintenance, emergency post-disaster waste collection plan. So everybody pretty much outlined what their plan of action would be in any kind of an emergency situation, like an IDA. And then one that was kind of an optional was financial strength, which everybody, all the proposers had pretty much good financial strength, so it was kind of a null category. The cost scoring, whoever was the lowest got the highest points, and then all the others were rated based on the differential between the high score, the low score, and the next highest. And it ranged anywhere from 10 points to 20 points to 30 points, depending on how much it was, 10 cents, 20 cents. So it was all kind of extrapolated from what the low score was versus the other bidder's score. And then the different other categories, that was worth 60% of the total scoring. Proposes qualifications was worth 15%. Comprehensive approach was worth 10%. Equipment dedication and maintenance was 10%. And then emergency plans was 5%. So each scorer basically reviewed their individual proposals independently. They jotted down their numbers, and then we tallied them up, and the scores came out that River Birch was the highest scorer. Waste Pro came in second, and Pelican came in third. We had one other bidder who was disqualified. They missed one of the addenda, and in missing that addenda, they filled out the previous bid sheet, so they were disqualified from it, and we sent them a letter regarding that. We hadn't heard back from them. So I think overall, it was, independently scored by 5 people, tallied up the scores, and that was the outcome.
So are y'all using the same matrix that was developed during Parish President St. Pierre's administration? Or did you tweak it or start fresh?
It may have been the same. There may have been some tweaks when we got it and we devised the scoring sheet, but it was pretty much the same. What, Myra?
From my understanding, it's pretty much the same from 2016 and then 2012 or whenever it was used before.
Right.
Yeah, it was very similar.
Yeah. Now, and I think that's great because there was a lot of thought and professional experience that was used to develop that matrix. And, people appreciate you going into detail about how you went through the process because a lot of people don't understand the amount of time it takes to review the proposals. And that was only, 5? Sometimes, we see upwards of, a dozen or more.
Yeah, no, we had 3 that were rated here.
Right.
Some of the other ones we're working on now, up to 7.
I've been doing a lot of scoring with
And
other types of RPs.
I guess it's correct to say that, y'all would have no problem going over any respondents' score with them if they had any questions, right?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second to adjourn. I got a motion from Ms. Fonseca, second by Ms. Cooley. Please cast your vote. And that passes unanimously. We are adjourned.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.